So today we're continuing work on the Mach 1 for the new build that I'm doing to it. And if you didn't know, I put an IRS in the car. So my 03 Cobra sitting here had an IRS in it, and I'd done the full tilt boogie racing upgrade on everything with the rear end and the bars and all that. So it's a really stout piece. After going to the track on with the Cobra, I broke a half shaft on it. So instead of just dumping all this money on upgraded half shafts and all that jazz, I decided to put a stock half shaft in it and stick it in this car because I wasn't planning on racing this car originally. It was just going to be basically a Terminator and a Mach 1 body. So that's what it is. It was a Terminator swap, 6-speed IRS, really fun car to drive around. So the solid rear out of this car got 33 spline upgraded axles, true track differential, welded axle tubes, 9-inch ends, the whole 9 yards. It's a really nice piece. I put that in the Cobra, and that's what I was using when I was drag racing the Cobra. As you saw in the video, I'm putting the Cobra back to stock, kind of. I mean, it's got a Keeney bell, making 20 plus pounds of boost and 700 horsepower now. It's still a stout piece, 6-speed manual, but I don't feel like racing this car anymore. I'm gonna put it back to where it's an original Cobra IRS 6-speed. The only upgrade basically is a return fuel system and a Keeney bell supercharger 85. So if I were to sell this car, everybody would like it because it technically has got everything it's supposed to have. Not everybody likes a solid rear and a Cobra and all that. Anyway, getting off topic. So what you're about to see here is I'm taking the IRS out of the Mach 1. So I just started the process today, got everything loosened up, getting ready to drop it out. And when I take it out, I found out that I had a leak. I thought it was the rear cover leaking, but actually what I found was the seal on the driver's side is leaking. So when I changed that half shaft about a year and a half ago, obviously the seal had a little damage, I didn't know it, and putting everything back together, the seal got nicked or something. It's got a slight little drip in it, enough to make a mess on the garage floor and leave a little drip. So I'm gonna have to fix that eventually. But here it is, there's the IRS full tilt boogie stuff in it with the bars and everything here. You notice I had Viking shocks on it, and but there it is, get ready to come out. And it's actually gonna go back into the Cobra, and the Cobra rear, which was the Mach 1, is gonna go back in the Mach 1 now. So the Mach 1, just to recap, is gonna have a BMP supercharged build engine, running about 24 to 26 pounds of boost, 6R80 with the Circle D converter, same setup that was in my black twin turbo car, trans brake and all, and then the solid rear, 373 gears, 33 splines. So I feel like on the trans brake with 373s and that 6R80 and a two-step, this car should get out of the hole pretty good with that supercharger. I feel like it should run in the 6s. Not sure how it's gonna run in the 6s and the 8, but I feel like mid to low 6s and the 8 should be pretty doable with this combination. And it should be a high 9-second car, I'm thinking, once I get it all dialed in. But we'll see, yet to be determined. Kind of a goal for this car would be a 9-second car, drive it where you wanna go, drop it, put it in gear. Just to give you a quick tour, I've been working on the shifter, never mind all the seats I'm stuck in here. It's Mach 1 seats everywhere. But I've mounted the low car shifter at the black car. You see I got the plate it's mounted to, and the shift cable runs down here. And the shift cable on these comes out the back. It's actually drilled a hole and put a nice little piece right here. Little insert there with the rubber. So now the cable passes through the rubber piece, and the rubber keeps it from chafing against the metal of the car. So there you go. It's looks factory, and I trimmed my carpet a little bit around it so it'll lay flat now like that. And if you want to see how the mechanism actually works, push in the button. That's park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you hit it to the side. That's manual mode. That's upshift, and that's downshift. Back to drive, and that's neutral. So, and that's park. Anyway, this also shows you where the quick 6 controller was. I had the same place in the black car. Figured I'd mount it here just so I can see if it goes into error mode like it was before. I don't see that being any different just because of this controller, but whatever. I'm gonna make it work. And what I have to do is I have to actually modify my console now to clear that shifter and the way that bracket comes off the back. So I've got to take my dremel tool and actually go in there and cut out some of the plastic so it sits the console down flush. But for now, it's just set up in here. Once I get the car up and running, I'll adjust the shifter cable, get it where the shift detents are perfect. Once that's set up properly, I'll tighten the cable down, then I'll put the console back on it and finish it out. Anyway, to give you a quick update on the Mach 1, it's getting close. This week, I should get my tubular K member in. I'm gonna use that with the new engine so I can bolt everything up real nice. And then once I get everything in the car, bring it back here to the house and finish all the wiring and plumbing and get it ready to run. And then put the new seal in, put the axle back in, then fill it up with new fluid. And that IRS will be revamped and ready to go under the Cobra again. I might even try to clean up a little bit, but there it is. All right, so that's how easy it is to get the half shaft out. When the IRS is laying on the ground, it makes it real simple. Just take out the two top bolts here, take off the bar here, and then that way you got the whole assembly loose. You pull a little pressure on the shaft by pulling it. Just take a little wedge and just pop against the ABS ring, it pops right out. So what we'll notice here, if I can find my light, I'll grab my light here. All right. What you'll notice here, you see the seal there. Definitely tell it's been leaking. Let's see if I can get in here. So you can see where it's real dirty right around here and clean at the top. Clear sign that the seal's been leaking. So I got this cool tool popping here and pop that seal out, and then we'll put the new seal in it. Let's go over here to our handy dandy kit. I got that in here somewhere. Toolbox is a mess. Is it in there or is it in here? There it is. There it is. It was in there somewhere. This is really neat. This tool is adjustable. You actually loosen the screw and you can pop it in here, and let me show you how easy this works. Go in here like this, see there? And you come around the edge. And you just pop it out. It's supposed to pop out. A little leverage on it. Just like that. Now I'm gonna have a little bit of leak, so better get something, pick it up, but the tool's pretty cool, right? Anyway. All right, let's get a rag down here and just a little bit of this fluid. All right. Well, that escalated quickly. So I went from changing out the seal on the pumpkin of the IRS to going to get a seal and it was the wrong one. Of course, they didn't have the right one. So I ended up pulling the pumpkin all the way out, pulling both seals out, and now we ordered 2 new seals. They'll be here tomorrow. So I took the same time to take the cover off the rear housing and reseal it. So I had to clean it, get all the old silicone and junk off of it, and clean it. So I cleaned it best I could, some brake cleaner and rag, got all the housing kind of cleaned up. And then I took the IRS subframe itself outside and I soaked it with some degreaser and I power washed it to get it all cleaned up. So now it's clean. So you'll see here's the passenger and driver side axle assemblies. Again, there's the rear housing pumpkin all sealed up, got the silicone squirting out and tight. So it's gonna be fully sealed, ready to go when I get the new end seals, which I'll pop in here on each side before I put it back in the cradle there. Once it's back in the cradle, get it all set up, then I can slide this under the Cobra, which is why it's in the air. When I say escalated quickly, this is why. So the Cobra has a solid rear, which is now going back under the Mach 1 where it came from originally. And the IRS that came out of the Cobra is going back in the Cobra. So the Cobra soon to be back to IRS. But anyway, just to show you how things kind of spin out of control when you don't plan on it. It's just supposed to be a simple swap today, but I can't stand a leak. And I got in there and I saw the axle seal was leaking. I thought the cover might be leaking too. So you know what, why take a chance? We're right here, there it is. Let's just seal it all up like brand new, check everything out, put new fluid in it. So it's gonna have fresh fluid, seals up on the back, new seals on the sides. It'll be like brand new. You can basically call it a rebuilt unit. It already has 373s, they look great. And this is actually cleaned up now. So, I'm tired. It's a big job. We don't have a lift. But nice thing is, both cars actually fit in the garage, so I can actually work on both. I definitely ain't gonna finish it tonight, but that's okay. I'll take my time, do it right, get everything moved over to the Mach next, so it'll be a solid rear back under it, so I can drop it down and put it back on dollies and move it. And then the IRS is gonna go on the Cobra. It should be tight as a tick, no leaks. Put the catback exhaust on it, which is a MagnaFlow MagnaPack IRS catback that goes under the rear end. And exhaust that's on it now is the MagnaFlow MagnaPack, but it's 3-inch and it goes up and over the axle, so I gotta take it off so I can move it over to the Mach. So anyway, a lot of talking, but that gives you kind of an update. Things always kind of spin out of control when you don't necessarily plan on it. But there you go, update for today. IRS swap in progress. So one thing I should mention, if you're doing an IRS swap in your Mustang that didn't come with one would have had a solid rear, there's these brackets that hold the IRS into the subframe right here. And these brackets, there's 4 bolts. There's 2 on the sides here, and there's 2 on the bottom right here. Well, on the driver's side, you can get right to them, no problem. On the passenger side, one of the bolts is right on top of the gas tank. So what you have to do, you have to loosen the straps from the gas tank, support it with a jack. You can actually wedge it out of the way enough to get in here like this and get onto it and basically take the bolt out. So there's no other way around it. You have to drop the tank, make it easy. It's a real pain, but just be aware when you go to swap an IRS into your car, to put these brackets on, you have to get the tank moved out of the way to get to it. Now, this car was a solid rear from the factory, it being a Mach 1, but it had the provisions here to put the IRS tabs in there. So that's pretty neat. You just put the bolts through it and bolt it on, and then the IRS subframe bolts to it. But just a quick tip, make sure you are prepared to lower the gas tank to get to that 1 bolt. There you go. I had a couple things to point out here. When you're doing a swap back from an IRS or to an IRS, a solid rear, there's a pinion snubber up here you got to mount. So there's a pinion snubber up here you have to mount because the rear end on a solid rear can actually move up and down. When IRS is fixed, you don't have that on IRS. And then the brackets here for the exhaust, because you see my 3-inch MagnaFlow exhaust goes up and over the rear end. On an IRS, it goes under the bottom. So these brackets hold the exhaust for a solid rear. So I transfer those back over here to the Mach 1 where they were before. Anyway, there's your 3-inch cat back MagnaFlow exhaust. And you have to put these on first before you put in the rear end because the pipes are so big, they will not go over the rear end once the pipes are in, once the rear end's in place. So now I'm ready to hook up these upper control arms here to their top mounts and then get the rear end up and set everything up. And it'll be done here in a second. The rear end will be in the car along with the exhaust. One thing to also public service announcement, if you're gonna be working on an IRS car and IRS is out, perfect time to change the fuel filter. So brand new fuel filter for the Cobra. While us putting the IRS back in there, that just saves a lot of trouble down the road. By the way, bingo, the rear end's back under the Mach 1 with the exhaust and everything. So it's ready to go, solid rear axle once again. And got on my dolly so I can move it around. So as soon as I get through and putting the fuel filter on here, I'll be putting the IRS back under the Cobra where it belongs. So ran out of time today, got sidetracked with a few things. But long story short, the IRS is back in the Cobra now, ready to go. The only thing left is to put the exhaust on it and then put the wheels on it, and it'll be 100%. Like I say, just ran out of time tonight from finishing it. But here it is. It's got the H&R race springs back on it on the back with the IRS, which match the front. It's got the Viking double adjustable shocks on it. And it's got the full tilt boogie bushing kit all through it, if you didn't already know that. It's also got the full tilt boogie arm right here. I've got to touch up some of the paint here on my caliper. I scratched it a little bit. But it has new axle seals on both sides. The rear cover's been resealed. Got brand new royal purple fluid in the pumpkin. So all that's ready to go now. This thing's set up, ready, drive shaft's tight. Like I say, just got to put the exhaust on it and put the wheels on it, and it's back to IRS. Here's the Mach 1, ready to go. It's got the solid rear under it. Might be hard to see, but I've got the 3-inch MagnaFlow exhaust on it. It's just not hooking anything up front, which is over the axle. It's got the Takiko blue shocks on. It's got the Maximum Motorsports lower control arms, and a set of Steeda double adjustable uppers. You'll notice I got an airbag in the right side spring. This is an old school trick. You actually put a little bit of air, like 5 to 10 pounds in that bag. Just lean over to the right. And I've also got a factory sway bar on it. So still gonna be a street car, but when I go to the track, I can make it hook and go. This car does have factory subframe connectors, but they're real flimsy. So I'm gonna take those off. We're gonna put a set of nice full length subframe connectors on the car and get it ready to go down the track and go straight. So this week, I've got a UPR tubular K member coming for the car, but I got the what is it called? The optional spring purchase, because I want to run the same H&R blue springs that's on this car. So I'm going to run the UPR K member. I got a brand new set of A-arms for this car. So you got brand new bushings, brand new ball joints. So the whole thing on this car is going to be brand new, the whole front end, but it's going to have a UPR tubular K member. And that when I go to put the headers and the motor in with the 6R80, should have any problem making everything fit and having clearance. So anyway, that's a quick update. I'm sure you like my shirt. Stockish. All right.